if you don't apply that mindset, you're never going to win in F1. No chance. It struck me watching, I think it was, sort of got the garage, haven't you? And then there's like a few meters, and then there's somebody who is standing at, from memory, I mean, it's a long time, it's a few years ago now, it's some kind of a console, and they'd have the headphones on and they're talking to you, right?
Exactly.
So but we had headphones on so we could hear them. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
only the VVIPs get that opportunity.
Oh wow! I must have been nice
right
to Toto at that one. So I was listening to this thinking, hang on a second, what, that doesn't sound right. I mean, yeah, they've provided some information, but they haven't done it in a way that I think is going to be absorbed effectively by this flesh and blood driver out there fighting for their lives. So it's really interesting to hear you confirm that side of things.
It's something that I was pushing for in all the years,
right.
And I was telling them, you need to put this differently. Even when you're telling me strategy, again, they had their numbers. They assumed the guy in the car knows everything. I don't have a clue what's going on out there.
Right.
But they have everything, the perfect overview with their screen.
Yes.
And so they assume that I must know everything, and they forget sometimes. Yeah. Actually, I'm completely clueless out there, and I could do with a bit of information. But again, I don't want to criticize too much, because they're all absolutely awesome and the best in the world.
Yeah. They were, and so what lovely people.
Exactly.
It must have been a joy to, that as an outsider at a sporting event of that significance. Okay, they're quite relaxed, because I think you were definitely 1-2 already by that particular.
We're always 1-2.
Yeah, you're always 1-2. You're always
right from the start.
But they made an outsider feel very, very welcome. They were just very kind and warm, and I have such happy memories of it. Even that night, I was exhausted. I actually went back to the hotel and went to bed, but there was some party that I think a celebration party. And
you can say the truth here.
And I know, my wife's going to be listening. I didn't go to the party. Can you believe it?
Okay.
I didn't go to an F1, but what an idiot.
How did the truth? I remember seeing you 6:30 in the morning
the champagne.
at breakfast on the table.
Yeah, with the crystal.
This is my last memory.
It's not true. It's not true.
Okay. Let's move on. We go to marginal gains. Let's touch on that a little bit in a little bit more detail. Yeah. One of your big mantras, how you're trying to teach people that the importance of focusing on every little incremental step to make the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Can you maybe go into a little bit more depth in that?
Yeah, I think it is important. I think it's definitely important. This idea of breaking a problem into smaller parts and trying to find improvements at the smaller level. And one of the reasons for that is your F1 engineers know only too well. In a complex problem, it's quite difficult to know which bits are implicated and what's successful and which bits are not. But if you break it down, you can isolate what they would probably call the causal variables and therefore make more progress. But that is a technical way of explaining it. It became very famous in cycling, where a coach, Dave Brailsford, said, instead of talking hot air, we need to look at improving the aerodynamic efficiency of the bike, the diet, antibacterial hand gel. They take mattresses from stage to stage at the Tour de France so you get better sleep quality, and a whole range of other things. That attention to detail to improve. And I think you can probably apply that to one's life. How can I get better at my job? Well, maybe I need to get more sleep, or I need to improve my meetings, or if I'm working in a bidding process, I need to improve my client relationships. I'll give you one example from business. Google, I know you've done a business pod, but this is probably a good way to talk about it. Google, big equity value, very smart people. But they said, can we improve the color of our web links on the Google toolbar? It's a blue color. So they divided the color blue into 40 different shades, randomly allocated users who clicked onto the website to each of the different shades, measured the resulting profitability of the relationships, established that one of the shades was more profitable than the other 39, so changed all of their web links to that shade of blue, and it boosted annual revenue by $200 million. And they do about 12,000 of these A/B tests every year, because they don't see their current product as the end of the story. They want to see how they can improve every single bit of it. And I think you apply that to big problems, you can often get great solutions.
I'm going to catch on to two stories because of what you said. First of all, I have an ice cream business, and I decided to call the medium cup, instead of calling it medium, I now call it normal.
Yes.
So you have small, normal, large.
Yeah.
And that tiny change made more people naturally want the normal cup.
That's interesting.
That usually took the small cup.
Right.
And it has a massive impact on the business.
So that is a positive impact because they're going from small to medium,
Exactly.
and your margin on the medium is higher than your margin on small. Yeah, that's perfect.
Just changing the name from medium to the normal one.
Yeah.
And another one, because you talked about cycling. So in my championship year 2016, I was at the minimum weight. We had to be diet, because in the beginning of the season we were told 1 kilo of body weight, because we were on top of the minimum weight. 1 kilo body weight, 300ths of a second per lap lost. Yeah,
1 kilo,
300ths
of a second.
which
that's
is
a
in
lot.
our world,
Yeah.
2 kilos, 3 kilos, you get to a tenth. It is massive.
That's massive.
So you can understand we were absolutely at our minimum.
Yes.
Then I get to the summer break and I'm like, I need to try and lose a little bit more because I'm still above the limits. I can't go on diet. It's going to destroy me mentally. Can't do that in the middle of the season because you need to play the long game and have strength towards the end. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm cycling. I have these heavy leg muscles. I stopped cycling because the summer break is 4 weeks. So I stopped cycling and I just did walking up the treadmill in a steep incline. And I lost the kilo in the 4 weeks.
Brilliant.
After the summer break, I was on pole in Suzuka from Lewis by 200ths of a second.
Wow.
And the kilo from the not bicycling anymore was 300ths.
That's brilliant.
And
That is a brilliant story.
That got me the race win in Suzuka and really unsettled Lewis mentally.
Yes.
And that put me ahead in the championship by a big, big margin. And that then got me the championship in the end. And so this is to your marginal gains.
It's super.
An example.
It's brilliant. And it makes me realise how in F1 the margins are so tiny. The margins are so small. And there's so many different things that impact performance. Your weight, how you interact with your engineer on the communication, aerodynamism, the engine. It's if you don't apply that mindset, you're never going to win in F1. No chance.